Coach, you talk about adversity, and I know you addressed this on Saturday. The way you guys were able to overcome that game, I think, says something about this team. Now you're facing another adversity. You're going on the road for the first time. What did you learn about your guys, though, last week that you think will benefit you for the rest of this season?
Yeah, we talk about having the desire to stay together and the desire to get it the right way. And those guys stayed together. They didn't go home. They didn't want to go home. They stayed in the dark. They got dressed in the dark, and we were able to practice without any film. And those guys wanted to be here. And so anytime you see something as drastic as a hurricane and guys are trying to stay and get work in and get ready for a game that we didn't even know we were going to play, then it tells you something about the people in your organization, that they do want to be together. I think they had a good time with one another, just being around each other, forced maybe, but they had a good time being around one another, and it showed on Saturday by the way that they played.
You know, speaking to that bond, I mean, you're only as strong as your guys, is what they make this team. Do you think when you look down, week 7, 8, 9, as we get further into this season, what they went through week 1 could benefit them maybe when things get hard down the road?
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. I would contend that things are going to get harder in the first quarter at Albany State. They got a really good football team, and we're, like you said, we're going on the road for the first time this season, and so we need all the bonding and help that we can get. But I do think it will help, not just down the line, but immediately. It'll help us. It's helped us this week in practice, just being around each other and getting through the hard of practice. And so we're excited about it, and hopefully it'll continue to grow and develop.
Albany State, you mentioned them there, lost last week, but just what have you seen about them? What do you like about them? What do you noticed? I mean,
yeah, new staff. I think Coach Gray does a really good job. They're sound on defense. They're multiple on offense. They're really good on the special teams. I don't put a lot of stock into their loss last week. I think this is a good football team. And then when you add the pageantry of HBCU football, which I know all too well, and then you add that it's the home opener on their campus, 6 o'clock game. The band is going to be there. They're going to have a lot of things in their favor. And so I think they'll be ready to go. And then when you add the rivalry of being 87 miles down the road, and when the Blazers show up, people tend to play a little bit better than what they normally play. And so we understand all that now, where maybe that caught me off guard before. We understand that. We're preparing our players for that, and hopefully we meet and exceed their energy and enthusiasm.
And just talk about the challenge of facing Albany State, because they played 2 quarterbacks last week. Just talk about the challenge of facing one that can run the ball a little better and then one that can be a pocket passer.
We got our hands full because we don't know who to prepare for. And so, the kid number 3, he can pass the ball. He can run. Don't let him fool you. He can run too. But he's kind of got the starting experience there for them. Older guy, grad student. So he's been around for a little bit, played a lot of college football, and then they got the change of pace guy number 6. And so every time he came in the game, he threw it a little bit, but he did scramble around, make some plays with his feet. And then they had almost a different style of offense for him. So we got to prepare for both because we don't know who we'll see. We might see both of them ourselves. And so we've had to really open up the game plan defensively and make sure we're able to defend the running quarterback and not the running quarterback with every call that we make.
And you talked about how Albany State, you didn't think that last week was their best performance, was still not who they really are. Talk about how you got to keep your team focused and not think they're just going to get an easy dub like they thought they were going to get last week.
Yeah, we didn't think that last week. And we didn't watch any film after Tuesday. We didn't practice like we normally. This is our first Wednesday in season, so we didn't think that last week. But we certainly don't think that this week. We have no room in our program to think we're that much far and better than anybody. And so we kind of keep ourselves humbled and grounded that way. We understand that in college football, man, a few plays here and there can really strike a match and light you on fire and get you going. You see that on every level. And so we certainly, our opponents are nameless great faces to us. We respect them, but really we got to make sure we're ready to go. And if we're not ready to go, then it doesn't matter what our opponent is because we'll go out there and not do the right things. And so we respect Albany State to the utmost. We're going to play this rivalry game as though it's a rival. and we're going to do it the right way, and hopefully our guys can be successful.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, you've talked about kind of this team's depth all season. I don't think you're going to figure out kind of certain things maybe for a little bit longer, especially after last week. But on Saturday, did you see anybody stand out? And did you see a difference in having that depth and the way that you guys were able to play?
Yeah, you can look at the stat sheet and tell how many guys touched the ball, and you say, man, if we had 16 different guys touch the football, all 3 quarterbacks threw a touchdown, just imagine what you don't see on the defensive side of the stat sheet. A lot of linemen played, a lot of guys played. I think everybody who came, who dressed, played. McCall Bennett kicked in the game, so everybody got a chance. So it was a good thing, but as a coach, I get a little nervous too because these guys haven't had a full game of reps. You know, we had D linemen with 25 reps. Well, the average starting D lineman is about 45 to 50 if we're doing it the right way. So we're having to condition ourselves on a level still like we're in camp just because we haven't seen the rep count that a normal game, especially a normal game of this caliber against Albany State is going to be.
How many people are you going to bring with you on Saturday?
We'll take 65.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take 65. We won't be as large as we had on the sideline, but it'll be 65 guys that we expect to get in the game because of the depth that we do have. And so nobody chicken eats and rides anymore. You know, everybody's got to play, everybody's got to roll, and everybody's got to do their role to the highest ability.